survivors. Today we're talking about something tender, something quiet, something so many people live through without ever saying it out loud. We're going to talk today about what happens when you get married in your early 20s and then you grow and they grow. And somewhere along the way, you stop growing in the same direction. This is for anyone who's woken up one day and realized we're not partners anymore. We're roommates. So let's talk about it gently. Let's talk about the numbness, the separate rooms, the fear, the kids, and the quiet truth underneath all of it. A lot of us got married in our early 20s because it felt like the right next step. You meet someone, you fall in love, and the world around you says, perfect, build the life. And for a while, that's exactly what you do. You build routines, you build dreams, you build a picture of what you thought forever would look like. But what no one talks about happens 10 or 15 years later when you're not the same person anymore. So reflect with me. Who were you when you got married? What were you dreaming of? What did you believe about yourself back then? And now? Do you still recognize that version of you? It's okay if the answer is no. Growth is beautiful, but it doesn't always happen side by side. Sometimes it splits you into different people in different directions without either of you meaning to. The drift doesn't happen overnight. It isn't one big explosion. It's thousands of tiny moments that you barely notice. At first, the conversations get shorter. And then you stop sharing the little things, the funny stories, the fears, the dreams. You stop asking each other how your day was because sometimes silence feels easier than trying to connect. And one day you look around and you think, we live in the same house, but in completely separate worlds. You're not partners. You're not teammates. You're not companions. You're roommates. When was the last time you felt seen in your marriage? Not tolerated, not ignored, actually seen. And then the drift becomes physical. Almost without noticing, you're sleeping in separate bedrooms. And maybe you told yourself it's because of snoring or schedules or someone needing more space. But underneath all of it, there's a distance, real distance. You move around the house like two ghosts, trying not to bump into each other. You plan your steps around avoiding discomfort. You're careful, quiet, polite, but not connected. Separate rooms, separate routines, separate lives. So ask yourself, what does your home feel like right now? Warm, connected, or cold and quiet? Here's something many people never admit. Sometimes couples start fighting not because of the issue, but because they want to feel something. Numbness is heavy. Anger feels alive. So you fight about the dishes, the laundry, who forgot what, or nothing at all. Because for a few minutes, anger cuts through the numbness. It makes you feel real again. And then when the fight ends, the silence returns and you go back to your separate rooms wondering how the two of you became strangers. Are your conflicts about solving something or about breaking the silence? Now let's talk about fear, because fear is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Fear of money, fear of breaking the family, fear of being alone, fear of disappointing people, fear of starting over, fear of being judged. And the biggest one of all, the fear of the unknown. Sometimes the unhappiness you know feels safer than the uncertainty you don't. But I want to ask you something gently. Have you mistaken familiar for safe? because those are not the same thing. And here's the part most parents wrestle with the deepest. What about the kids? You love them more than anything. You'd walk through fire for them. And the thought of changing the family structure feels unbearable. But let me ask you, without any judgment, do you want your kids growing up thinking that this is what love looks like? Two adults who barely talk, who sleep in separate rooms, who move around each other like shadows, who feel more like strangers than teammates. Kids don't learn love from words, they learn it from what they witness. And if that witness is numbness, distance, or tension, they internalize that as normal. You're not a bad parent for asking these questions. You're a loving one. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do for your children is to show them what a healthy home looks like, even if you have to build two of them. Let's talk about guilt, because guilt can feel like the weight on your chest. You tell yourself, I chose this. I promised forever. I should be able to fix it. If I leave, I failed. But here's the truth. You may need to hear. Two good people growing apart is not failure. It's life. You can honor your past and still choose a different future. You can appreciate everything your marriage gave you and still know you can't stay in it. You're not selfish for wanting peace. You're not ungrateful for wanting joy. You're not irresponsible for wanting to feel alive again. You're human. So let's talk about what to do with all of this. Not in a pushy way, but in a gentle, grounding, step-by-step way. Step 1, you have to honor your truth. Think about the version of you that you should feel, the real truth. Ask yourself the hard question, am I happy? Is my partner happy? Are we partners or roommates? What would a healthier life look like for all of us? Don't make choices from fear. Fear keeps you stuck. Clarity helps you move forward. Talk to someone safe, a therapist, a mediator, a coach, someone who holds space without judgment. Remember, you're allowed to want a life that feels like love, even if it looks different from the one you imagined years ago. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Wanting connection doesn't make you selfish. Wanting peace doesn't make you dramatic. Wanting joy doesn't make you reckless. Sometimes love means staying. Sometimes love means releasing with grace. And sometimes love means choosing a path that lets both people breathe again. You deserve to feel. You deserve to grow. You deserve a life that lights you up, not one that dims you. New beginnings are not failures, they're invitations. And no matter what your next steps look like, you're not alone.